Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Go Money. Before we go into the details, if you have not watched the introduction and money management videos, please do. It has the basic concept of wave theory and the indicators we use. The money management will give you an idea of how to manage the trade. The link is given in the description. In this video, we are going to look at weekly stock analysis. Before going to the stocks, let's look at the index, basically the Nifty and Bank Nifty. So as you guys have seen, overall the market is pretty volatile and also looks little shaky at this point. Not sure how the global cues are going to be, and due to war and situations are getting bad, we never know what can happen to them. It can be a sudden death, sudden drops can happen, so be careful when you do any trades. Please make sure take wise decisions on trades. But looking at the Nifty, so basically let's quickly go through from a weekly perspective. So because just to give you an overall idea, but for a little bit better understanding. So if you have seen, this is a longer impulse. Basically what happened is this is kind of a bigger impulse followed by a bigger correction around 2008 time frame, and then market has recovered with a slower correction to complete this wave, and then it made a bigger correction around 2019. So this has completed the full pattern, and then it has started for the next impulse up, which is nothing but such an impulse has happened here, and it is very steep, not even like a small slow rise. It's a very big steep impulsive move. So yeah, so whenever you see an impulsive move happening, generally what happens, it's followed by a bigger correction. So let me zoom it a bit here for you to get a little understanding of what I'm talking about. So whenever there is a market, slow movements will not see a bigger correction, but when you have a steep up, you'll have a steep drop. Same thing on many times. So when you have a bigger impulse up, you have a bigger impulse down. So on a longer time frame, a bigger impulse up, a bigger impulse down. So this is kind of a natural way how the a chart behaves or a price action behaves. Think about a mindset, right, of a buyer who actually bought somewhere here or somewhere here or even somewhere here, right? So when you see a bigger profit, you really don't need, or you may not be holding that for longer time because you want to take out some of the profits which you have gained for almost like 4 or 5 years. So or if from that long perspective, whenever you get a real good gain, so people like to cash out and they don't want to lose it, and when you see a bigger price movements. So this is kind of a basic principle or mentality, and that can, and with a small negative news, when people get little panic, the market can drop bigger because these are all new buyers who came in and they don't want to risk their money, so it will all get wiped out very quickly. So there will be always new buyers and sellers coming into the market, and that is how the price are going in waves, and depending on some sentiment of the market, that can change. It can change drastically. There won't be any rational behind the value what is getting changed that time, but it happens because of a market sentiment. So the similar action, if you see here, this is a bigger move up and there's a bigger move down. It may look small from this price, but the percentage move here is pretty big because it is between somewhere between 500 and 1000, which is like 100%. Since the price is small, it is looking small, but basically that's how the price moves. And even here from 1000 to 6000 and comes back to 3000, like 50% down. So this always happens from a longer perspective. And now since market is very high and also it's not a very good looking market, better be careful if you have long positions holdings, because it's good to have some risk, or or you have to have some strategy of entry and exit in the market to have better long-term benefit. But if you are not trading, and if you are long-term in the market, and if you are not close to retirement, and things are okay, you're going to work for another 10-15 years, you don't have any issue, you continue investing, have systematic investment plan. When the market comes down, please continue doing it, so that you get better benefit when you might be investing at a lower price, and when the market picks up for the next 5 years, you will make a lot of gains out of it in the long term. So this is kind of an overall market perspective which I'm just showing here. And now let's look into what is happening now in the market overall. And I don't want to really scare you away, so still we cannot say that the market is dying or in a bear trend. So yes, it broke the previous low, so basically this is an impulse, this is a bigger impulse, and we just completed this wave. Are we in a downtrend? I don't know yet, it may or may not, but at this point it is coming down. It is a key retracement level is around 15,850 points. Once it reaches there, we'll be seeing how it performs, and depending on the hourly trade, you can see if you're going to get an impulsive up, and then it is going to start moving up. Then it is somewhat we can say this pattern is complete for a next wave up. But if that is not the case, and let's say if the pattern moves down and then makes the small up to complete this wave for further down, then it is definitely longer term side wave or bear market. So it will all determine in a month. At this point it is definitely sideways, and better not to add anything to the position at this point, unless if it is if we are really certain that it is going to go up. Bank Nifty is almost in a similar situation. Again, it's not in bear mode, so it's an impulsive move. It is just still correcting, so maybe it will complete its pattern before it starts moving up. So still a little bit longer time frame to go, but at this point market is in sideways, so nothing to worry right now. You can learn or look at the market, understand, read about market, read about good stocks, what you can own. This is a good time in a month or two to enter into certain positions if you want. Okay, having said that, let's move on to some of the stocks which we monitor here. It doesn't mean that we are only monitoring this, but from the our YouTube viewers perspective, we are only monitoring and showing how we progress in these trades when it comes to analyzing the trade. So we'll only look at blue chip stocks in this video, and any other stock or any information if you guys are looking for, please comment and we can try to get some information about that. So let's I think this video we have, before even starting the analysis, I think it's been more than 5 minutes, but let me try to cover this quickly. So we can see these are the possible trade setups we can get in the coming week, as this has all completed the C wave. So basically it is impulse followed by ABC correction has been done. If we get an impulsive move up, then we will be entering in that trade. Right now we are not. HDFC similar, so it is kind of an expanding flat which is happening at this point. So it has completed ABC, and maybe it might touch the key retracement level, possibly. This is kind of a trend line what we have. Looks like it is breaking the trend line. Doesn't mean that it's going to go down. We still have multiple resistance points before it even come to a bear territory. So yeah, and then HCL Tech, it's also completed the impulse followed by ABC, and now we are in sideways. Maybe it will be here for some time, or it can go up. This is a pretty good trade. If it comes up, we are actually watching closely on this. Now moving on to Hindustan Unilever. This we were expecting it to go up, but it has come down to the next retracement level, and not sure if it is ready to move up. But if we go to daily time frame, it has broken the trend line, so we have to wait and see how this can perform. But at this point, still not confirmed downtrend, but if it breaks below 1800 rupees, yes, then it is a long, it may take longer time to recover. So let's wait and watch how it goes. Basically right now I don't see a trade, as it is actually moving down pretty fast. Hero Motocorp, again it made an impulsive move up, but then it dropped again, and it looks like it is still moving down, so no trade setup yet. So we will be watching this trade, but doesn't look like we are going to get this trade anytime soon. So maybe it might take a little longer time. Maybe I think this might even come down for further next retracement level, possibly. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I think we have to wait and watch from a longer perspective what might be there. But looks like it's a slow dying wave at this point. So it made an impulse down, and then there's a small correction for further down, that we expected this to start moving up, but it has turned down. So there can be a correction, there can be one more drop before it starts. That is definitely possible. So it's little more time to this. BPCL, similar situation. We are in C wave and still we are there. We have to wait and see if we are going to get an impulse before we get a trade. Mostly we are not seeing any big trades in coming weeks immediately. Maybe because of global Q, not sure, or maybe there are profit taking happening right now due to uncertainty. So we have to wait and watch. If there's a breakout, then we will definitely try to get into trades. Sorry, CDSL, I think we didn't talk about. I think it's all the similar situation. This is impulsive is complete, and then we have ABC move, and so we are in the sideways to start going up. But I think at least it should break the lower trend to even get into a trade. But at this point, no, not yet. L&T, yes, it was in a good position, but it is now starting little downward move. Not sure if it is already going down, but at this point I'm expecting this wave not to go too much down. Let's say this is our second wave. Yeah, we are not expecting this to go down below this retracement level. So basically, but again, this doesn't look like it's not ready for next trade. So putting this plus, no, let's not put this. Yeah, this is kind of what we are looking for. Maybe there can be multiple waves here before it settles. So it is made an impulse corrective, then there can be an impulse down to complete this wave, then there can be a upward trend. So still I think maybe a month time frame to complete and get into a trade. Tata Power, kind of it did well last week actually, so it went up pretty good, but it is in side wave. If it starts moving up, we might try to enter this trade. So this is kind of pretty much the one trade which looks like it is good, unless if it's breaking this high around 230 rupees, we may not be entering this trade, because we never know how this can progress. Expecting it to start for sure, so looking good, but as market is jittery, we are also waiting to get a confirmation before even entering into the trade. Okay, and other stocks which are actually in development are Bajaj Finance. Basically it was in sideways, but now looks like it might have further down before it starts the next wave. So at this point there is no trade on Bajaj Finance. We tried to get into a trade, but basically it broke down, so we are out of that. And Eicher Motors similar, this also we were in a trade, but we got break even closed, and it is coming down, and we are expecting it to come further down before we have getting any trade setup. Axis Bank, kind of similar setup. It is looks good, but I'm not sure if this is the end of correction for further up. There can be, if it starts going down, then it will be a bigger correction at this level, and we have to wait for further setup. So at this point again there's no trade setup for this. TCS similar setup, we are waiting, and basically there's a bigger impulsive move down, so we are waiting for the dying wave to complete this pattern, and also to reach a retracement level around 3,300 rupees, and then we are waiting for a breakout for further entry, so maybe a couple of months to get a trade. Power Grid, we had a very good move up basically, and but we were actually tracking from here, but we saw this downtrend, but we were not sure. This is again the first wave for this whole impulse, so we were waiting for a slower move up, further correction for another move up. So maybe again this went up, but again there's no trade setup yet for us to enter a trade. Maruti, yeah, Maruti did really good. Actually, this we had a very good run on the up move, and now like as expected, we got the wave down, but it's pretty fast. So maybe I'm expecting it to go up, then a correction, and then maybe there's another wave up to start with, and that will be a good trade to enter, as it will actually complete the A, B and C for further move up, and this will be a long-term entry. Dr. Reddy, same, we are these are all like bearish patterns right now forming, so it will have a longer term sideway move like this. It may be a longer term sideway move before it starts with the next impulse, and if it happens, then that will be a good place to enter, but again you have to wait for some time. DMart, similar, these are a local time frame, and as expected it went up, and then now it starts coming down, but not sure if this is done. Maybe there will be one more up before it comes down further, but this is all in bearish trend right now. ITC, again this is a very long term setup. We don't know, I think we are expecting this before it goes up, but if it even goes up, we will wait for another correction to complete before we enter. So in any case, this is kind of this is very long time frame, looks like, with whatever I draw, but at least a year before we enter into ITC. And Infosys, pretty much Infosys there's not real downtrend yet. It is maintaining its levels, but it's sideways for some time, so we have to wait to see a proper pattern. But as we said, this is really a good support level for Infosys, which been there for a long time. That is very big transactions happening here, so possibly it may be here for some time, and with that maturity it can start moving up. Tech Mahindra, let's go to daily. So as we are seeing, I think this might be end of the correction, but there can be further down. We are expecting to the retracement level to complete the C wave for further up. So this will be a good trade setup, maybe in a month or two possibly. Bajaj Auto is also in a downtrend move. As we can see, it is completed and it is actually started moving down. So we don't really have a trade setup now. As you can see, this is completed the C wave, and it is actually and we are expecting this to touch this retracement level, which is approximately 2750 rupees, and that will be a really good entry once it starts an upward impulse. So looking at Tata Steel, yes, it broke up, but we are not expecting this as an upward move. Looks like a false breakout, and this may be a big drop suddenly can come. So be careful with this trade, unless if it actually have a nice consolidation here, and then if it has a breakout, maybe you can enter, but even then this may be a longer term pattern before it goes up. So at this point it's better not to trade this and wait for longer correction. Yep, so that's all the stocks which we follow and which we are actually presenting. So pretty much it's all looks sideways, not really good trade setups for coming next week or so, maybe one or two possibly. If when it happens, we will definitely post it on the we'll actually make a video. But overall market is pretty much sideways. It may even drop anytime. Even with a small bad news, market can actually violently move down because of the position or the place where it is in. So trade carefully, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. I will see you in our next video.